Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Jamil, and today I'm going to be taking you through another leak code. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so forgive me if I am a little rusty, but today we're going to be doing another operation that we have seen before, a XOR operation. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but this one is going to be in an array instead. It is a fairly simple question. It is an easy question. And hopefully I can help you understand it by the end of this video. So let's jump right into it, and let me take you through, and hopefully you can learn something today. So the title of the question is XOR operation in an array, and we are given an integer end and an integer start. So we're giving two integers, two parameters that are being passed, and we need to define an array of nums where nums I is equal to an operation. So it's going to be start times 2 by the index, right? And it's telling us here that the index is 0 indexed. So that's an important point. And I should let you know that it is a hint, okay? And n is equal to nums.length, okay? Again, another hint. And what we're going to do is we're going to return the bitwise XOR of all the elements of nums, okay? So in the array, we need to return an output that is a number, essentially. So for example 1, our two parameters are n is equal to 5 and start is equal to 0. So we need to go from 0 to 5 in an array. And how do we do that, right? We come out with an output of 8, and the explanation here says that the array nums is equal to 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8, where 0, 2, 4, where 0, XOR 2, XOR 4, XOR 6, XOR 8 is equal to 8, okay? So if this doesn't make any sense, it's like, essentially what is happening is that when 0 XOR 2, when you run the operation 0 XOR 2, it comes back with a number. That number, you then run it against the number 4, like a XOR operation against the number 4. And then, you keep on doing that, and you just work your way from the start to n. Okay? So let's start solving this problem. Example number 2 here, let me just go over example number 2 before we start solving, but it says n is equal to 4 and start is equal to 3. The output is also 8. Right? And because we're going from 3, 5, 7, and 9, where 3, 5, 7, and 9, like, is in a XOR operation is equal to 8. And the reason why we're going 3, 5, 7, and 9 and how we created these arrays is that we are just going to be using start plus 2 times I. Okay? Notice something here. When the explanation is explaining to us how the problem works, it is putting the numbers that we care about in an array, and that is another hint. Okay? So 0 indexed and nums.length was a hint earlier. The explanation gave us another hint. It is telling us that we are probably going to be using, an array to solve the problem. Okay? And so XOR operation in an array. Hints all over the place. So let's start off with what we are being passed. We are passed two numbers, right? The first number indicates the end point, right? And the second number is our starting point. Okay? To find the numbers between the start and the end, you should complete the array using the equation they gave us, okay? Which is this here. Okay? So once we have created the array and we have done our operations and have done everything, what are we returning? We should return, right, a single number that is the result of a XOR operation on every element in the array. Okay? So we go from 0 to 2, we find that XOR operation, then we do 4 to 6, then we do that XOR operation, and then 6 to 8. Like whatever those numbers reduce to. Okay? Perfect. So now that we have an idea of what we are being asked to do and what we are returning, let's start with our problem. So our problem asks for us to find the XOR operations in an array. So let's start off by declaring an array. Okay? So we're going to have, I'm going to just call it ARR for the sake of simplicity, and it's going to be an array of numbers. Okay? And I'm going to set it to an empty array. Now you ask me, why is it an array of numbers? Well, because nums I is equal to start plus 2 times I reduces to a number, essentially. So we know that in our array, we are going to have 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And these, instead of being represented as a string, they're going to be represented by the type of number. Okay? But now that we have an empty array, let's just say, create an array to hold your numbers, right? We need to next make the array with the numbers, right? So figure out what each index's value is and push it into the array. Okay, so how do we go about this, right? Well, it's probably going to be something along the lines of like this. We're gonna use a counter. I'm gonna use I just because it is the thing industry standard, most familiar with, so on and so forth. I is going to be, in this case, less than n, okay? And I plus plus. And so this I is less than n, the operation here comes from this hint right here. N is equal to nums.length. So typically when you're working with for loops, you iterate over the length of the array, over the length of the string, so on and so forth, but we don't know the length, right? Like we don't know how many elements are going to be in our array, but it tells us in the question that n is going to be the length, so we can just replace nums.length with n. Okay, and for us to figure out what each element is, so if we are concerned about the current element that we are on, so when the first time we will basically, when the first time we're doing it, we're on array 0, we are going to be using this equation, start plus 2 times I, to figure out what array 0 is, okay? Like what the value is at index 0 is. So we will say it's going to be start plus 2 times I, right? So start is the parameter being passed, okay? And 2 times I is just the values that they give us. So where are we at now? Let's console log array, okay? And we'll see what we have. Oh, whoops. This won't do what I want it to do because I am not returning a number. Okay, now look at this. We have recreated our array 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 using the equation that they gave us. So how do we get to our final answer? The next step here, it says 0, XOR 2, XOR 4, XOR 6, XOR 8. Okay. You can essentially use another like variable to do this, but I am going to take a little bit of a simpler approach. It is less clear in terms of like clarity and stuff, but yeah, it will help you understand the reduce method a little bit better. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to use a reduce method on the array. Basically, use the reduce method to figure out the XOR value of the array. Okay? So we're going to basically figure out what it reduces to. So we're going to do reduce, and we're going to do previous value. Oop, let me just make this a little clearer. So we're going to do the previous value and the current value. Okay? And we're going to say it's the previous value XOR the current value, and we're going to give it an initializer of 0. So if you're familiar with the reduce method, right? When you are on your first iteration, actually, let me see if I can do this. If I do this and I enter this and I do console.log and tv and then cv, okay? Let me see, will this work? Yeah, we'll return 1 here. What does this not like? Oh, I move this up 1 and oh, put the console log before it. And in order for you to be able to do this, we need to return, I think it's PV to CV. No. Huh. I wonder. Okay. Anyway, I'll figure that out here in a moment. I might leave it in the GitHub solutions to try and see how I can console log the values each and every time. But okay. Well, anyways, it's not coming to me right now, but I'll take another look at it outside of the video, and then I will maybe edit it at the end of the video. But if we take a look at this right here, and if we run our problem with our current reduce with the previous value, XOR current value. So when we are first, I will just take a quick moment to explain what is happening here with the reduce before going over the answer and why it works, okay? When we are using our reduce method, we start off with, we need to pass two variables through, and then we need to run an operation in the reduce to try and figure it out. And you're usually going to use your reduce method when you are trying to count towards something. And this 0 right here is your initial value that you are starting from. So if I said let count, right, which is a number, equal to 0, and then I change this 0 to a count, right, and I run this, you'll see that it will still work. It will still return the same value that we are expecting. And so in your reduce method, everything after the comma is an initializer. You could make this an array. You can make it I believe you can make it an object, but don't quote me on that. You can reduce values into an object. But on your first iteration, when you are reducing from 0 and 2, right, previous value is 0, current value is 2. That will then reduce to a single number, right? Let me just see if I can console log that. So it's going to be console.log 0 XOR 2, right? And you'll see here it's 2, and then it's going to be console.log. I'm just going to do the whole thing. We'll copy this, right? XOR 4. Yeah. XOR 6. And then one more time. XOR 8. Okay? And these console logs should return 8 in the similar fashion. Basically, what is happening, you will see, is that since these numbers reduce to 2, that's 2 to the power of 4, right? I'm not really sure what this number is going to reduce to, but I'll return it here in a moment, and you will see essentially what happens. Right? So 2, 6, so that's going to be 6, right? And it's 6 XOR 6, and then it is 0 XOR 8, right? And we'll see here, right? 2, 6, 0, and then 8, as we expected it to be, right? Because 0 and 2 are these two numbers right here. And then once you figure out that value, which reduces to 2, you do the next operation. So it's these three numbers, right? It's 2 XOR 4, right? Then the next step, when you do 2 XOR 4, that reduces to the value of 6, which is what we got here, okay? And then it becomes these four numbers that you are accounting for, and it is 6 XOR 6, which is just 0, right? And then since, everything here reduces to a XOR of 0, it is 0 XOR 8. And we come back with the value of 8. In case number 2, it's the same thing. It's 2, then 6, then 0. In case number 2, and it is also 8. Okay? That is the answer that we are looking for. So, hopefully this helped you understand the XOR operation a little bit better. What I am going to do is I am going to take this solution and post it to my GitHub so that you can take a look at it in finer detail, play around with it, break it, make it work. If you learned something today, Please like the video and share the video and let me know in the comments what you learned. I really appreciate any feedback that you may have, how I might be able to improve on this. And yeah, if you like the video, please like the video. I'll see you next time with the next video and the next LeetCode. My name is Jamil. You have a good day.